Om Namah Shivaya. So today we are going to talk about the story of King Rishabdeva and Bharat in Srimad Bhagavatam that shares the deep relationship of Rishabdeva and how this land where we live and we call it Bharat came to be called Bharatvarsha. If you want to know, keep watching the whole story. So who was Rishabdeva? Rishabdeva is described as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu who descended to teach humanity the path of renunciation, dharma and self-realization. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5 and its related chapters are dedicated to give us all the answers. In chapter 3 of Canto 5, verse 18, it is said, the Supreme Lord Vishnu appeared as the son of King Nabhi and Queen Meru Devi. He was known as Rishabha. That means on the spine of Jiva means Meru Devi. From the Nabhi, Surya took birth and he was named as Rishabdeva. Rishabdev ji was a king but later renounced everything and lived like an Avadhuta. Avadhuta means living as a detached sadhu, sage. He was demonstrating that human life is meant not for sense enjoyment but for austerity, tapas, and realization of the self, the Atman. In Bhagavatam, Canto 5, in chapter 5 also, it is a very famous verse. Nainam deho deha bhajanam nirloka tapo divyam putraka yena satvam shudhet. That means this body is not meant for indulgence like animals, but for divine austerity, by which one's existence becomes purified. And this is one of the most quoted verses if you ask on the purpose of human life. Rishabdeva had 100 sons. The eldest and most qualified was Bharat. But if you will find it in Jain Dharma, they also have the same lineage. If you want to know about lineages, you can check a video on our Hindi YouTube channel called Swarnavani. The link is in the description box. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 4, it is mentioned in one shloka, I think the shlok number is 8. Of Rishabdeva's 100 sons, the eldest, Bharat, was a great devotee and very exalted. Rishabdev handed the kingdom to Bharat and retired to the forest because Rishabdeva has most trust in Bharat's ability. Bhagavatam Canto 5 Chapter 4 also calls Bharat as Mahabhagat, a great devotee. And you know how many devotees do we have in our country? Rishabh chose Bharat because he possessed devotion, detachment, righteousness and leadership, which are actually missing nowadays. Bharat ruled so nobly that Bhagavatam Canto 5 Chapter 4 and I think shlok number is 9 or 10, Varsha became known as Bharatvarsha after him. This shloka means that this land was formerly known as Varsha. But since Bharat Maharaj ruled here, it became known as Bharatvarsha. Now why it became Bharatvarsha is because King Bharata, who is son of Rishabdev, with King Bharat's grandparents, King Nabhi and his wife Meru Devi, ruled this land with dharma and spiritual greatness. That the same trust was bestowed on King Bharat, an entire region or landmass was named after him from Varsha to Bharatvarsha. So we can say that ancient name of Bharatvarsha was Varsha. That means the region that is the center of the mountain. So the country name Bharat is inspired from King Nabhi and his son Rishabdeva, who were metaphorically none other than Vishnuji as Nabhi and Vishnuji's grandson as Bharat. This is the physical manifestation of Lord Vishnu that is called the country name Bharat. This is the primary scriptural source. Even in Vishnu Purana, that is the oldest and most authentic Puran, has a description of Bharatvarsha, where there is a shlok that says Ratnakar Dhautipadam, Himale Kirijanam, Brahma Rajrishi Ratyadyanam, Vande Bharat Matam. That means, salute to my father or mother Bharat, whose feet are washed by the sea, adorned by Himalayas, she who possesses many Brahmarishis and Rajarishis, the country that lies north of the ocean and south of the snowy mountains is called Bharat, for there dwelt the descendants of Bharat. According to Puranas and some other sacred scriptures, it is said that the earth had 7 lands, which are named in Srimad Bhagavat as Jambu, Plaksh, Shalmali, Kush, Kranch, Shak and Pushkar, in which Jammu Island is located in the middle of all the islands. That's why Jammu Kashmir is extremely important in spiritual quest. The statement in Vishnu Puran and Bhagavatam is the primary scriptural source for the name Bharat. So what would be the spiritual significance of Bharatvarsha? Bhagavatam doesn't describe Bharatvarsha as merely a geographical location. It calls it the most sacred land where karma, dharma and moksha are possible. The metaphorical significance of the story of Rishabdev and Bharatvarsha, Bharatji, is that this land is the dear son or daughter of Lord Sun or Lord Vishnu. Or we can say it, I think I said this in one of the video, that this land belongs to Thakurji. The one who reaches the state of Bharat becomes the son or daughter of Lord Sun or so-called Lord Vishnu. Now let's further understand the story to know the state of Bharat. Bhagavatam Canto 5, Chapter 19 also shares that among all Varshas, means Varshas here means regions of Jambu Dvipa, Bharatvarsha is the most glorious because here alone the living being can attain liberation through karma and bhakti. This is a profound statement. Even more, that Devatas desire birth in Bharatvarsha because only here one can exhaust karma and attain moksha. Now you can understand why there are so many avatars in our country, Bharat, and why there are so many saints in our country, Bharat. Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 19 also shares the gods themselves pray to be born in Bharatvarsha to practice devotion to the Lord. So you can imagine on which beautiful land we are residing. What we can learn, the important lessons from King Bharat are King Bharat later renounced his kingdom but became attached to a deer. So in Bhagavata Purana there are 3 stories. One is about King Bharata and Rishabdeva, and another one is where he takes another birth as a deer because he was so attached to a deer. There's a story, you can read it. Then I think chapter 8, due to affection for the deer, King Bharat forgot his spiritual practice, and then the third rebirth he took as Jad Bharat. That is also one story in Bhagavatam. And as Jad Bharat, he acted dull to avoid society but was realized. As Jad Bharat also, he later instructed in that story King Rahugana in deep spiritual wisdom. I think that is somewhere around chapter 10 of Canto 5. So in this birth, as a Jad Bharat, he didn't get into any attachment and became a fully realized sage. So these 3 stories are told us to show that even a great king or any soul or any sadhak who is advanced in his practices must overcome attachment to attain liberation if one is seeking one. And one must seek one because that is the purpose of human life that I have already mentioned in the beginning of this video. Whatever I have mentioned here in this video is already described in detail in Srimad Bhagavatam Mahabharata in Skanda 5 among chapters 7 and 14. Now let's understand this in a metaphorical term, what we have understood as a story. What is the spiritual symbolism of these people? So Rishabdeva or Vishnu Deva is an ideal renunciate, divine teacher who has 100 sons. One is Bharat, who became king, and out of 100, 9 became Yogendra, who became the wandering sages who taught bhakti. And these 9 Yogendra sons of Rishabdeva depicts 9 paths of bhakti and jnana in the story that is called Nevedya Bhakti. And remaining 81 sons share about the Vedic ritual Karma Kand that we do as yagya and other sanskars. A son, Bharata, shares that he is an ideal king. Then he became renunciate and a self-realized sage. The land of Bharatvarsha is a land meant for liberation. It was also mentioned that out of his 100 sons, only one he chose to be a leader, and that was King Bharata. That means our beloved country, Bharat, is chosen by Lord himself. Now, how all these narrations relate to spiritual progress and practices and enlightenment. These stories guide us as sages. Let's not understand these stories only as history or mythological stories, but as inner scripture that is a map of our consciousness that shares that Bharatvarsha, the land of gurus or Lord Vishnu, is the blueprint of liberation. The Bharatvarsha does not narrate Rishabha and Bharata to inform us about ancient kingdoms, but it narrates them to describe the journey every form or soul must walk, especially if one is in human form. Every form who is the son and daughter of Vishnuji is Bharat, no matter of his or its geographical location. Every Bharatiya must not fall into attachment but get into liberation. Even more if you stay and are born on the land of Bharatvarsha, because spiritually this land is remembered as the kshetra or field where the soul can awaken. Every liberated soul is Bharatiya, who will be taken care by Rishabdeva or Lord Vishnu. Here also I want to relate one more story of Lord Jesus, where he said that I am the son of the sun, means I am the light of light. And I think that's what he meant by this statement, that he is Bharatiya. Only because he achieved liberation, he walked all the way to Bharat to achieve liberation. So if I have to see the journey in one line, is that Vishnuji as Rishabdeva showed how to live like a king, but how to renounce as a sage, and then how to leave the world as a liberated soul. That also shows that one can become a bhogi or a sadhu, both at the same time. That I think I have mentioned in one of my videos which I shot in Portugal. I will add the link in the description. Now the 3 stories of King Bharat showed the 3 different layers of human reality. We can say that Bharat is the blueprint of moksha or liberation. The 3 different stories of King Bharat says that how even a great soul like Bharat, who is the son of Rishabdevji, Vishnuji's incarnation, can fall due to attachment to a deer. And that deer is none other than Hiranyagarbha. When you will read the story, you will understand why I am saying it as Hiranyagarbha. Or materialistic life shows Brahma part of his nature. And Bharat arises again to enlightenment, depicts the state of Shivatva in complete Vairagya and Avadhut. That is the story of Jad Bharat. Now what modern minds have to do with this? First of all, they have to understand the importance of Bharat. More specifically, if they are born Bharatiya, they must know that how beautiful their country is And they should know more about their country because that will tell them the gems, those are still hidden in secret. They must also know that the human life is precious and it is more precious for liberation. Also, they should not be attached with material life. Even if they are enjoying that, that's okay. Instead, focus on walking on spiritual path so that they can become one with the Absolute. For more understanding on this, please watch a video on Suryalok on our Hindi YouTube channel called Swarnavani. That will help you understand this video because I have shared lineages in that video. So I will drop the link in the description box. Taking a leave now. I think the video is quite long. Om Namah Shivaya.